Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Strongman Personal Finance. We got to talk about Clown Elon Muskrat, my favorite Tesla stock pumping grifter, and this new government efficiency organization that is being bandied about on X and other social media platforms. So, Clown Elon Scumrat, my favorite boy, interviewed Donaldo Trumpo on X, on one of his little voice chat things they have on X. And Clown Elon, being a grifter that he is, he kind of mentioned something about a government efficiency program to Trumpo, excuse me. You probably can't say the other word. I probably got demonetized and banned. But he mentioned that this efficiency organization, and Trump was like, oh yeah. And Elon was like, oh yeah, I would be willing to step in and help you with that. Trying to ingratiate himself with Trump. And Trump was like, oh yeah, you're so good at cutting, blah, 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 And, most things that Clown Elon Scumrat does, or, recommends or pushes, are usually scams and clownery. 99% of things that come from Elon Musk are pure, disgusting grifts designed to enrich himself. But this government efficiency program is one thing that I wholeheartedly support with every fiber of my being, because no man has a deeper hatred of government employees, of lazy, worthless rats, than Christopher Allen Bell III. I'm actually not the third. Why do I say that? Well, I grew up around the government. Okay, my dad was in the Army. So I grew up around the Army. That's all I knew. The Army, hold up your hands. And then I went to college, and then I went and joined the Army. I did 5 years in the Army, government. And then after that, briefly financial advisor, chilling in Germany, doing nothing. And then I became a employee at NASA. NASA! Oh, they went to the moon. If you work at NASA, you must be a bright, stellar engineer genius, because they went to the moon in, 1963 or something, 1965? 50 years ago? 60 years ago? Oh, wow, NASA! Oh. And let me tell you a couple things that I noticed at NASA. So, when I first showed up, I worked in the travel office. Basically, we before you travel in the government, you have to be authorized to travel. You can't just go travel and have the government reimburse you. You have to be authorized. And what the government does is they kind of have an estimate of how much the trip is going to cost, and they set aside funding to pay for that trip. That's an authorization. So when you authorize somebody's travel, let's say they want to travel to, I don't freaking know. They want to go to a conference in Germany. Well, you got to book the, estimate the cost of the flight, the hotels, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then you set aside the money. So when I show up to the travel office on this brand new GS6, making $37,000 a year, pissant pay. I mean, it goes up the longer you stay there until it's pretty good. And I show up and I look in the queue, the travel authorization queue, which all the people in the travel office should go through it and clear it out to process people's travel. What had 150 travel authorizations in it. And the travel office had a bunch of senior ranking government employees, right? The best and the brightest. When I got there, and then eventually I had a friend that showed up, we got that locked down tight. But here was the problem. Were we rewarded for our hard work? Were we showered with praise for, completely revamping the travel office from a lazy loser disaster into a highly efficient machine? Of course we weren't, okay? But you know who won? All the lazy loser, worthless, money-grubbing, slug clown government employees. So I'm going to think about everybody that was in my travel office. So we had this one older lady, right? She sat behind me. And her job was to do, I don't even know what her freaking job, something to do with credit cards, because NASA gave out credit cards for like travel, like government travel. And she literally just wasn't there half the time. Like, she was hanging out with her friends or doing this or doing that. She's freaking gone. Took huge lunch breaks. Now, me and my buddy, if we took a 31-minute lunch break, you're a bad boy. You're a bad boy. But that lady behind me, the old lady, she would just be gone. Like, I don't know what she was doing. And she literally wouldn't do anything. She would just sit there all day. Anything that you asked or emailed her would take days to hear back. And there was one time, we had to do a very simple travel function, right? Some traveler called her and said, hey, I need this. And normally it's like, it was an easy task. Like, it probably take 5 seconds. She freaking panicked. She lost her mind because she was stressing about some easy travel task. And this was a GS-13 making $120,000, $130,000 a year. Literally. Not able to do a simple task. And you got old, loser boy, strong man, working hard, making $37K a year. Doing everything. So she couldn't handle anything. Okay? She was one example. Then we had another guy that sat across from her. Okay? He was like an older dude, also a GS-13, also getting paid $120,000, $130,000 a year. This mother effer would show up in like New Balance tennis shoes. Like, I would dress like this, professionally. This mother effer would show up in New Balance tennis shoes, a jersey, like a football jersey. And he'd literally sit there and do what was called sponsored travel, where like outside organizations would pay for travel. And there would be like maybe 2 sponsored travels a week or every couple of weeks. And for the rest of the time, this mother effer just freaking sat there and did absolutely nothing, while me and my buddy did all the work. Okay? So you look at these 2 people right there. They could have been fired, or at least one of them could have stayed and done both jobs. But of course, because the government's full of freaking losers and it's like impossible to fire people, you got all these slugs just hanging around doing nothing. There was another guy. I'd always see him just like walking around. He just walked around. That's what he got paid to freaking do. He walked around. And, we'd be in the coffee room. He's also a GS-13, of course, making $120,000, $130,000 a year. And, he'd tell me war story. When I was in Vietnam, I was on missions to take out, messengers for the Viet Cong, and I would assassinate them. Obvious lie. Obvious freaking lie. If somebody brags about, assassinating people in the military, they're lying. I can 100% guarantee it every freaking time. This mother effer, he didn't do, his job was to take credit cards and make sure they were paid off before somebody left NASA. That was his job. That's what he did. So I would see once a month, some person would come in and drop off their card. And this mother effer would take the card. And that's all he did. And then my boss in travel, he was a cool guy, but he eventually got promoted to GS-15, which is like $160,000, $170,000 a year. And he had this new job. He's like auditor or something. I don't even know what the hell he did. But he even admitted he didn't do anything. He would just walk around. I would just see him walking around all day, and he would just be talking to everybody. This mother effer getting paid $160,000 a year to walk around and talk. Wow, really? Oh, yeah, you did an hour of freaking work. And all my fellow employees, they were incompetent. Most of them. There's obviously 1 or 2 that were really smart and were good at their jobs. I'm not saying they were all bad. But the amount of slugs, incompetent losers, lazy people, wasted jobs, it was a disaster. And this was just one agency, one center of one agency. I guarantee you, we could fire 50% of the federal workforce Easy. Not, I mean, the military, you got to have, like, soldiers or whatever, in case there's a war or whatever. But the federal employees, they are grifting rats. 99% of them are scum. But, of course, you need some scum to run the government. But you can easily fire 50% of those rats because they get their little pension, they get decent health care, they get paid more than the average worker, they basically can't get fired, and they don't do anything. So this is just one thing that I observed. Now, in the private sector, it's different. Eventually, if you suck and you lose money, your business won't exist anymore, okay? But in the government, it doesn't matter. They're clowns. So I fully support them just absolutely gutting the federal workforce. And there's always propaganda. Here's how things work in the world, okay? People want to benefit themselves, and they will say and do and pull emotional triggers and manipulate and lie in order to achieve their ends to benefit themselves. They want to benefit themselves. They want to give themselves special privileges or give themselves advantages. And they'll say and do whatever they have to do it. So when I hear a federal employee or like a representative of federal employees say, oh, they're servants of America, blah, blah, it's all googly gawk, okay? He just wants to make sure that federal employees continue to grift off the taxpayer, make more than the average worker, and sit on their butts and do nothing. But you'll hear all these people defending federal employees. Well, you know why people defend federal employees? Probably because they are one. Or they're so stupid, they don't understand how it freaking works. The government truly is full of waste. And I actually would like to see Clown Elon go in there and just absolutely gut those freaking lazy losers. I would love to see him just act like, I want to see federal employees in freaking tears crying. Because most of them are scum of the earth. Scum of the earth losers that can't get a real job with a real skill set. So they go to the federal government, okay? I was there. I know, okay? So I 100%, like, man, the one thing, Elon is good at firing people. And at least he can run businesses and make them profitable. So even though I make fun of the guy, he's like in a league above any federal employee. The scum of the freaking earth, okay? So anyway, that's my rant. I fully support the government efficiency program. And if you like the video, like it, subscribe. Check out the pinned comment below. I offered sponsored videos. If you want a sponsored video, you send me money, and I'll make a video about whatever you want. Check out my book, Stop Being a Broke Loser. It's on Amazon. And if you want a one-on-one accounting tutoring session with a certified public accountant, me, see the pinned comment below. It's $75 an hour for a CPA. And you have a wonderful day. Cheers!